Unless someone is born anew, it is not possible to see God's kingdom. Nicodemus asked, how is this possible for an adult to be born? It's impossible to enter a mother's womb for a second time and be born, isn't it? Jesus answered, I assure you, unless someone is born of water and spirit, it is not possible to enter God's kingdom. Whatever is born of the flesh is flesh, and whatever is born of the spirit is spirit. Don't be surprised that I say to you, you must be born anew. God's spirit blows wherever it wishes. You hear its sound, but you don't know where it comes from or where it's going. It's the same with everyone who is born of the Spirit. Nicodemus said, how are these things possible? Jesus answered, you are a teacher of Israel, and you don't know these things? I assure you that we speak about what we know and testify about what we have seen, but you don't receive our testimony. If I have told you about earthly things and you don't believe, how will you believe if I tell you about heavenly things? No one has gone up to heaven except the one who came down from heaven, the human one. Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so must the human one be lifted up, so that everyone who believes in him will have eternal life. God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone who believes in him won't perish, but will have eternal life. God didn't send his Son into the world to judge the world, but that the world might be saved through him. My mother seldom bought any cereal other than Cheerios, Rice Krispies, and Corn Flakes. That was it. They were healthy and they were hearty, but they were always a bit of a disappointment. Not for the flavor. I like Rice Krispies, especially with raspberries and cream on a summer morning. Best breakfast ever. So it wasn't the flavor or the crunchiness, how long the crunchiness lasted once the milk was added. It was because they didn't have a prize in them. Back in the day, some cereal, generally the good kind from a kid's perspective, those with unusual colors and lots of sugar, came with small prizes in the box. So here it is. I think Captain Crunch. I don't think my mother ever bought a box of Captain Crunch. But on that rare occasion, every now and then, she would buy something. I think we had Trix. I think she would buy Trix. Well, there was sometimes a prize in the box. We were very excited. The we, 5 of us. 1 box, 1 prize, 5 kids. And I don't care how old you are, you never really grow out of the desire to get the prize. Oh, for a decoder ring. Oh, that's what I always wanted. And I think that's what Nicodemus wanted too on that holy, dark night. I wonder how broken and lonely and questioning did Nicodemus have to be to take the first step out of his house that night? Did he stand on the threshold for minutes, vacillating back and forth, or were his steps sure and strong? The Gospel of John doesn't tell us that, but I think, from what I know of myself and other folks around me, vacillating makes a whole lot more sense. If you're sure and strong, go during the day. But he went at night. And there in the darkness, hidden from view, hidden from those who would demand to know why Nicodemus was visiting Jesus, I imagine he hesitated. What did he want to hear? He knew of the dreams of the people bound by Rome, of a Messiah who would come and be like Moses and release them from bondage. Was that what he hoped for that night? The one who would bring them out of darkness, the darkness of Roman oppression, into the light of a new way of being? What would it mean if Jesus was the Messiah? He comes at night to find Jesus. The same Jesus who just a day before overturned the tables in the temple, not challenging Rome in doing that, mind you. The temple grounds were not Rome's authority, but Israel's. Jesus, in turning the tables over, was challenging the people of God. And Nicodemus, as a Pharisee, was knowledgeable about the law. His role in the community as a Pharisee was to help people live in right relationship with the law so that they might be able to worship God in pure and proper ways. But Jesus overturned the tables and brought into sharp relief the injustice of the system, the possibility of corruption that had moved people to a more transactional nature of what happened, a transactional relationship with God. I'll do this, you do that, instead of a prayerful way of seeking justice, and seeking justice as a way of being. Perhaps Nicodemus had heard of the wedding of Cana. We're only in John 3. The wedding at Cana was the first miracle, right? Wine flowed with abundance. The party you want to be at. It's a sign, is it not, says Nicodemus, of the abundance of God, of the provision of God. Nicodemus wanted to know, but I think he knew that knowing would change everything. You and I know that change, no matter how good it might be, almost always comes with some resistance. Resistance from the community around you. You did what? You want to what? Why? And resistance that comes from within. Should I? Can I? Might I? Change is hard. And don't you know it? Because there are those 7 words. We have always done it this way. Change is hard. Resistance comes from within, and the possible discomfort that is my reality. I know what that discomfort is sometimes, right? Some of us have discomfort within, and we know what it is. We know that it's not where we want to be, but we know what it is. And the change takes us to something we don't know and makes it much harder. Giving up all that we know, even discomfort. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's worth the risk. Oh, for a decoder ring. A decoder ring that would clear up all the questions. But alas, there were no cereal boxes for Nicodemus. There was study for Nicodemus as he was a teacher of the law. There was prayer for Nicodemus as he served the people as a leader. There was observance of the law, and still he had questions, and he went to Jesus at night. What did he hope Jesus would tell him? What revelation of divine promise did he hope for that night? The author Annie Lamott says this about revelation. Revelation, the revealing of things, not the book, right? Revelation is not for the faint of heart. Some of us with tiny paranoia issues think that so much information and understanding is being withheld from us by colleagues, by family, by life, by God. Knowledge that would surely save us and help us break the code and enable us to experience life at perfect peace and amusement. I wonder, on this bright and sunny day, if we are any different than Nicodemus, searching for the code, for the way to know how to muddle through our life in ways that are prayer-filled, justice-seeking, and in right relationship with God and one another. Oh, for a decoder ring to tell us how to read the world. How is it that good people who have the children's best interest at heart can have such different ideas of what that interest is and how we might serve that interest instead of our own? Oh, for a decoder ring so we might know what a border is and how to keep it secure if that is truly necessary, without separating babies from their parents or turning people away to return to a living hell. Oh, to know how to balance our needs, really more often desires masked as needs, with our impact on the environment. Oh, to know how to balance a woman's bodily autonomy over the needs of another. Oh, how to know how to seek peace that is deeper and more long-lasting than the absence of war or fear or violence. Anybody want a decoder ring? I do. Oh, to know how many guns make us safe and how many are too many. Oh, to know how we can live our life and see the complex nature of our national identity with all its challenges and its glory. We often take these questions and other life-altering questions to Jesus, and we often do it at night, do we not? When no one will see us or hear us or judge us or hold us accountable for what we hear about justice and righteousness and love. Oh, for a decoder ring that will make it all clear for us. There's no decoder ring there, is there? Just Jesus. And so what does he tell Nicodemus? Something for which we need a decoder ring. You must be born again. Anybody like the decoder ring now? I know I would. You must be born again. You must start over in love, because that's where all babies start. In love. All babies start in love. For a baby, it is to be lovable or die. And they are. Even when they make us sleep deprived or give us reasons to change our shirts after every meal, they are demanding. But then, that moment, when they look at you and for the first time their eyes really focus and they see you, whether you are parent or grandparent or auntie or friend, they truly focus and see you as the one who loves them. Be born again. Do that being in love. Receive the love that God has for you, even if you can't find it mirrored in your family or in your loved one's eyes. Is it so hard? Can you imagine yourself as truly lovable? That's the place to start, because that's where babies always start. That's what being born again is about. Finding yourself to be truly lovable, to feel the love, see the love, live the love, work the love, and from that love, go out into the world in everything you do. In your relationship with yourself, in your relationship with your family, in your relationship with your work, in your relationship with your recreation, or we call it recreation and fun, in everything you do. See the possibility of love that changes everything. And when you do, for a moment or more, respond to God in gratitude, because God never fails us. Nicodemus went with 1,000 questions. We come to God with 1,000 questions. Is there a code? I don't know. Let's see how good you are. Take out your pencils, and on a corner of of your bulletin, I'm sure there's space at some point. Oh, you said if you don't have a bulletin, then maybe there's scratch pads or paper or something, and let's see if you can do the code. Can we go to the next slide, Pen? Oh, I say we're going to do a code and they have to leave. No, they have baseball or softball or something like that. Here's the code. The question is on the bottom, the 27, 25, 62, 21, 21, 62, 21, to that bottom, and the code is above. See if you can figure out what it says. I know it's a little challenging from the distance and everything, but... And don't shout it out. So the ABCs are in order. The numbers are not in order. Of course, that's too easy. It's a decoder ring, or as close as I could get to one. Some of you are working so fast and furious. I want to give everybody who's doing it time. The rest of you are cheaters, not doing it. Think you're just going to get the answer the easy way. Maybe not. Nicodemus came to Jesus in the night and asked him, "What do I have to do? Who are you? What is this all about?" And Jesus says, "Be born again." I don't want to turn it before everybody's done. We got a couple people still working on it. It's hard, I understand, to go up and down and back and forth. But I didn't have the time to make you all super secret decoder rings to keep. Are we ready to turn it? Almost. Oh, what I love is some people are sharing it quietly. All right, are we ready? We'll go to the next. What do you think? Well, when you first saw it, what did you have any idea what you thought it might be? Well, let's see if you were close to right, those of you who didn't do it. Because those of you who did, I know you got it right. That's it. There's no code, no secret message, no something that you have to do differently or anything. It's it. I wonder if Nicodemus was disappointed. I wonder if he was disappointed. All you have to do is love everyone. And when you love everyone, even those that are unlovable, that opens you up to the possibility. Do you know any of those people, Maggie? I heard a snicker over here. That's why. No, none of us are unlovable ever. But some days we just sort of feel like the other person might be. That's it. No reason to go at night. No reason to hide. But for all those who find themselves in the dark night of the soul, for those who find themselves on the underside of the economy, challenged by demons in their hearts, living in darkness, Jesus, as he told Nicodemus, is the light and freedom and the love that we seek. You don't need a secret decoder ring, for which I'm grateful because I never got one, and they don't do it anymore. Right? It's probably a choking hazard. Right? All those things had little bitty parts on them. I looked at you can look up the Captain Crunch. There were 9 rings that you could get in Captain Crunch. I'm sure all of them were choking hazards. All of them. And guess who wanted them? Every kid on the block. So I'm sure that's why they don't do it anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't do it anymore. I was talking to somebody who was significantly younger than I am, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Prizes in cereal?" Yes. It was the best. But we don't need that decoder ring because the code is not a secret at all. It's Jesus. And the love that he showed, the love that he shared, the love that he lived, the love that took him to the cross, and the love that redeemed him from death. May we, in this day, use that as our secret decoder for all the things we engage in, all the questions we have. How might that work? If to every question we answer Jesus' love. Do it and we'll find out. Amen. Our hymn of response is for Nicodemus. Really. Precious Lord, take my hand as we remember that we can be very much like Nicodemus in the dark, wondering what it is to be born again.